Verona Borough Council, September 25th, 2018. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Kenna.
President Vicky Bell.
Here.
Mr. Conti is not going to make it this evening. He has work. Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Mrs. Alaba.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. Provenza.
Here.
Mr. Suchovich.
Here.
Mayor Recupero.
Here.
And I'm also here.
Okay. Council will now hear the registered comments from the public. Mr. Maddox.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I watch people all the time struggle with this podium and the microphone, and I think, that could be mounted out, because they try to put their folders down and they don't fit, so.
Yeah, I noticed that when I put
just,
paper down there.
it makes a challenge for them. It's okay, for me, but. I wanted to talk about our litter cleanup that's coming up on October 20th. That would be a Saturday. It's at 10 o'clock. It starts at 10 o'clock. I went to the community group formation meeting last week, and it seems like there is some interest from the people in the new group, maybe more enthusiasm than participation, but it wasn't a real big crowd. I think we're just going to have enough people to involve the students from Pitt this year. We need a minimum of like 10 community members, because when we split up into groups, we have to have one adult community person with each group of students from Pitt that we break up into groups. So the way we have it planned, to do the different cleanup areas, also doing the tree plants, we're going to try to weed them. And then the big question really comes down to when are the benches in the park going to be replaced? Is there an actual time frame, or is that just next summer? I think at the last meeting. Yeah, no, at Riverbank. Or is that at Cribs that they're being replaced? I thought it was at Riverbank.
Thought it was Cribs.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I can find
We'll
out.
check
Is
and
it Cribs
see.
we talked about? The table, the picnic tables was replaced.
Okay.
I know that Matt said part of that grant that he submitted last minute, he was trying to get benches and things like that, but I thought he meant Cribs.
And maybe he just said for the park, so
Yeah.
I heard, I think Riverbank, because we work down
We
there.
can check out Riverbanks
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I think really what that has to do is how much money I'm going to ask for, because if the benches are going to be replaced in the spring and it's early and it is at Riverbank, then we don't want to invest, as a borough, any money in really taking care of those, although we have volunteers to paint them. And we have some paint left over from 2 years ago. I think it's enough to get a coat of paint on the benches and make them look better. For example, if that's going to last through the winter and then in the spring they're going to be replaced. If they're not going to be replaced, and the street crew replace some boards, and they need a better paint job.
Right.
We would ask for some more money, to actually buy some paint. So what we have right now is paint from Ace Hardware. They donated last time around, but they're sort of pale shades and not necessarily the best paint. So if we're looking
Why don't I call Matt tomorrow, get clarification on what the grant is. I know that part of it was guaranteed money. I don't know that the benches were guaranteed money.
Okay.
Let me figure out what exactly, because he submitted like 6 grants
Yeah.
in the last couple months. So let me figure out what the plan is with that.
Okay.
And then I'll email you and let you know.
Okay, so based on having 44 Pitt students and 10 people, from the community involved, looking at what that cost in pizza from Pizza Hut, it's around $125. It's actually $112, but I think there's tax. Sometimes they give us a little bit of a discount, like $1 a pizza. They're the only place we found that can handle the volume of pizzas, because they have like that belt oven thing, so they can make pizza pretty quick. We tried one year where we made spaghetti and we had our own food, and it was just, it wasn't worth the hassle. We maybe saved a few dollars, but the hassle was not worth it. So I guess what I'd like to ask council for is enough money to pay for the pizzas. And if we need to paint the benches, we may ask you for some money to get some additional paint. We were looking at maybe $200, because paint's not cheap, and brushes and different supplies. So maybe that could just be a pending thing, once we find out about the benches for sure. So that's all.
Can you tell me the date one more time,
Yeah,
please?
October 20th,
October 20th.
which is Saturday. It starts at 10. That's when the Pitt students show up. We bring them in here because it's too hard outside to talk. We need to get them in here. We get them sort of split up into groups, actually sometimes just by how they're sitting in the rows. I give a little talk about, our town, in Verona, how helpful they're going to be, how important it is for us, what a difference it makes in our community. Then we split up, we do our thing, we come back. That might be 10:30 when we go out, we come back at 12:30 or so, depends on how the cleanup and things go. We have the pizza. Again, I give a little talk and say thanks for coming and how did it go, and talk again a little bit more about our community. I think we've had different people from council or the mayor has stopped in maybe at that point and said a couple words just to have a different person than me talking. So if any of you are available or part of the cleanup, Nancy has typically been involved with the cleanup, so if you're, would represent council on that, that would be, just nice for them to hear somebody else, so.
What time is that?
10 o'clock they arrive.
Okay, but
Oh, I'm gonna say it's around 12:30.
12:30?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Luke, you typically pay for that and then I give you a check, or is that the way you want to do this?
That works fine.
Do we need to make a motion on this?
Probably need a motion to reimburse Luke for any expenses up to
200?
200 plus the 120. Did you say 120 for pizza?
If we do just the pizzas, it's like 120. If we had that would be the 200.
So maybe
Okay.
just do up to $320 or something like that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
No, we get water.
Well, Jerry, wouldn't it be more feasible just to give them a check, or this way they don't have to pay the tax? Because the borough's exempt, or even a
Yeah,
card?
if we could get,
Credit card?
if we could get Pizza Hut if we could order it ourselves or something like that.
Right.
But they're probably not gonna give Luke tax exempt.
Well, then maybe order it while you're
We
here
could.
Friday for Saturday, it's what, 12:30 or so? I mean, every penny helps. I mean, it's,
Yeah, it's a good idea.
$6, $10.
When we go to Ace and see what they have, and if they do give us the paint, that's sort of like a starting point. And then if they don't, because I thought about that too, if we haven't counted items.
We
that
do,
could
yeah.
have. But then it's, we just, with the street crew, pick the colors, or how do we feel about? Or do we just go and say, oh,
Could you talk to,
Yeah, we could talk to Eilers and tell them that you're gonna come in for the borough.
yeah, because they've always helped out if they need bags, they donate bags, or if they
Yeah.
need, some
Yeah,
gloves
so,
and things.
and if you do it that way, they'll put it on the bill and we won't pay
Right.
tax. And then as far as the pizza goes, do you usually order it what time do you usually order it?
We order like a week or two ahead, and then I just call and remind them, just so they know to get it.
Then,
Just,
when you call them, just let them know that it's for the borough and it's tax exempt.
Okay,
And then they shouldn't charge you tax. And then we should do it the same way. Give us a receipt, we'll give you a check.
okay.
Or we can have, that's probably gonna be the best way to do it.
I mean, every
Since you
penny
order.
counts. you know what I mean?
Yeah, we shouldn't be paying tax ever.
Right.
So, yeah. So let them know, and if there's a hard time, then let me know and I'll talk to somebody down there and get them a tax exempt form, whatever they need.
Yeah, that works out then, because then we deal with hours and whether it's, donated or borough's paying, like for the bigger things, maybe the paint that, the
Right.
borough pays for. I did stop at Giant Eagle today and just happened to see the manager, he was in the bakery department. Giant Eagle always gives us a big cookie tray. So, some of the communities kids go, the students go to, they get like a bag of pretzels,
Yeah.
So I think they really, they appreciate what they get when they actually get,
A meal. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what we'll do. So, yeah, make a motion to authorize up to the $320.
okay. There's a motion on the floor made by Mrs. Provenza to authorize up to $320 for reimbursement for the cleanup.
I'll second.
Second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. And then
Patty's not here.
Patty's
Patty's
not.
not here. I don't know all the details, but I could say a little something on what she wanted to ask about. Is that okay? Or do you want to just have her do it?
Well, I think you should, she's not here, so you should do it, I guess.
Well, I can't say exactly. She was going to be asking for donation or money or whatever, or the opinion of the council if they want her and her son to decorate the pavilion this year, both for fall with like hay bales and the corn stalks, and then also for Christmas with the tree and the lights. And I think that like the lights are all burned out, so she needed new supplies. And I don't have the details of exactly what she needed to buy, how much it was gonna cost, but that's my understanding of what she wanted to ask about.
Would the decorations, would it be for fall or specifically for Halloween? Or would she just decorate for?
My recollection in the past is she gets a few hail bays, some corn stalks, a couple pumpkins. Do you guys remember the pavilion down
I think
here?
that's basically how.
That's it?
She does a very nice job at that
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Her and her son.
And then after Halloween, gets it switched over to Christmas before the parade. And I believe she needs all new lights. I don't actually, you see, I don't have the specifics of exactly what she needs, but it's wonderful that she and her son are willing to put all that time into it. I'm not sure if she needs any more help, and I'm not sure how much money exactly she was thinking about that she needed.
Okay, so then it's pretty much put on hold.
Yeah, we can't approve it without.
Yeah, but when
Yeah.
if she calls or whatever, or emails, then you'll have an idea of what it's about.
Okay, council will now hear comments from the public on agenda-related items.
Mike, I wanted to bring up, Luke just reminded me, the rec board, as part of the budget, what they're figuring out is the maintenance activities for the parks, both on what immediately needs to be done and also, I'm sorry, were you going to say this?
No, you're good.
What immediately was going to be done and also what's ongoing maintenance. So we started developing a list, and we'll be able to answer questions like that in the near future.
Like this?
Yeah, because
Okay.
the biggest thing is for us to schedule time to do a walkthrough, and we haven't had everybody to get together. So I'm going to let you know that's coming.
Do you have a time frame, an ETA on when your budget will be ready?
When do you want it ready?
So I would like to present the 2019 budget to council by next workshop, so a month.
Okay.
Can you have the Parks and Rec
We can probably
section to me? Because I think you're diving into getting better detail than we typically have had, so I would like to use your numbers.
Yeah, well. Wishful thinking, we will try to do that. I think we will. So, next Tuesday, we'll have to.
Work on that. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, there's nobody left, so.
Okay, reports and correspondence. Mr. Kenna.
The only thing I have is I gave out everybody on council, and there's copies up here there's 17 copies, and there's not that many people here. But from now on, every workshop, I'm going to give out one of these. It's going to be a State of the Borough, Verona Borough, State of the Borough report. It's going to have a section in here from any updates as far as press release information. There's going to be a section from the police department, public works, code enforcement, a finance update, any event update, anything else that I feel like we need to share with the public. My whole point with this was a lot of times the day-to-day operations are not necessarily in the public eye. And there's a lot of good things happening in the community and a lot of people putting in a lot of hard work. So my thought with this is that this provides a way for the public to see it. So every workshop meeting, I will be handing one of these out to all the council members, and there'll be copies for the people that show up. And for this report, a lot of it is just basically the framework, but a couple things that I wanted to touch on. We had a really nice article in the Post-Gazette, which I also attached to this report, that talked about the development and all the work that's been going on in Verona. We have a website update, which I think Sylvia may have been touching on in hers, but if you don't mind, can I just go discuss it now, or do you want to wait for the website update?
I thought we'd do it whenever it came.
That's fine, we'll wait. And then as far as the finance update, for me, there's a timeline on here on how I would like to propose the budget for council. My plan is to have the first draft submitted to council by, like I said, to my October 30th workshop. At that point, we'll have a discussion on anything that you may want to add, change, discuss. November 13 regular meeting, we'll have a second draft on anything changed from there and further discussion. November 27th, I'd like to present a final draft of the budget and have council vote to advertise and put the budget on display for the 10 days. At that point, it'll go into the lobby and onto the website. And December 11th, the council would vote to pass the final 2019 borough budget, which would mean that we would not need any additional meetings this year for the budget. So that's the timeline I'm working on. Another piece, something else that I have in here, Mrs. Drabicki and I, President Drabicki and I went to a seminar on September 13th for municipal budget and finance. The guy giving the course was a borough manager from Carroll Valley and actually had a lot of cool insights and a lot of things that he did that we're going to try to implement. So that's it as far as the budget. Our farmers market and monthly food trucks have been tremendous. They bring a lot of people into the town. And I put in here to thank Patty Thomas and Carrie Del Rosso for all the work they do. And as the months go on, these reports may get a little longer, more detailed once I get some more input from the employees to go in them. But this is going to be a way to make sure everybody is on the same page about what's going on in the community.
Nice job, Jerry. In regard to your budget, are you looking for like wish lists from
Yeah.
the police department? Does the street department know, the police
Yeah.
department, everybody knows?
Yeah, everybody's working on their wish lists for 2019. I actually talked to the chief today about some things, and I'm going to get with you and kind of go over what we talked about and see what you think. And, yeah, put it
Okay.
together.
Any of these leftovers, I think, should go out into the vestibule
fine.
on the...
That's a good idea.
Okay?
Yep, and they're also, once the website's live, will go on the website.
Very good. Very good. And that's everything?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mayor?
Real quick, the Riverview Children's Center had their re-grand opening of their new building, and I was down there for the ribbon cutting, and County Executive Rich Fitzgerald and our County Council member Nick Vitolis, Representative Frank Dermody, and Jay Costa. There's one other one. Can't remember, he wasn't there though. They were all present to do the ribbon cutting. It was very nice. The place is really big. They have a waiting list of 154 kids to get in down there. That's how popular that place is over there. The other thing is the dog catcher. I do want a real quick exec on that. I had talked to them today, and actually we had a mayor's meeting last night. Verona, Oakmont, Penn Hills, Plum, and Monroeville. And what Plum and Monroeville do is they actually, their dog catcher takes pictures of any stray animals, and they have a website, television, what have you, and they put it on. And I think it would be a good idea for us to implement that also, as far as when they get a stray animal, and within 48 hours, if it's not claimed, they would send a picture to the borough, and Carrie could put it on, what she does, put it on Facebook and so on.
Mr. Brown could put an alert out?
Exactly, yeah. And this way, hopefully, the people could just, somebody could recognize it and hopefully reunite it. And also, I had asked her for a monthly report when they're, or actually a weekly report when they're in town. We used to do that with Hoffman Kennel. She said, well, it's not in her contract. And I said, well, how about a phone call then? So next time, we're gonna have to put it in her contract. I mean, to me, it's not a big deal. Just drop a paper off, hey, we didn't have no pickups today, then leave. But we need to know when they're in town to keep track of, make sure they're here and doing their job, because Hoffman always used to come in and giving Ned a piece of paper showing the time, the date, and if they picked up any stray animals. But I'll get into more on that real quick. It's not going to take long on that. Where are we at on the flagpole? I know we discussed it.
It was, and it was on back order, and Matt actually brought it up the other day. I gotta call him and see what's going on with that, or call the company and see where it's at.
Okay. And also, real quick, exactly on some properties throughout the town, there's some problems with a tree up on Parker Street. It's an abandoned lot right now. Patsy's Market, the ordinance people, the committee, he's still waiting for an answer on if we could pass that, an ordinance stating he has 20-minute parking, because the neighbors are parking in front of his place during the day, pretty much on spite.
Yeah, I can respond to that if you'd like. I talked to Craig about that, and is there a sign up there already?
Yes.
So what he said is...
It's a removable sign. When he comes in the morning, he puts it out. When he leaves, he takes it in. So it's not there 24/7.
Oh, okay. So I thought that there was a sign like in the cement that says
It's a
20-minute parking for
removable
Patsy's
one.
customers or whatever. At any rate, he said if
Bless you.
Bless
the
you.
police know about it, that they could just come up and enforce the sign. And he didn't think that an ordinance was needed to make sure that that didn't happen.
I think the problem is that if it ends up in court, they can't enforce it. So if one of these residents takes it to court and puts it in front of DeLuca can't really uphold it because it's not a legit.
That's why our red lights and stop signs have ordinances on them. If you ran a stop sign, and if you came here and said, okay, such and such street, I don't see it on the ordinance book, legally, that stop sign's illegal. You can go to the magistrate and fight it, and they'll ask, well, let me see the ordinance, we can't find it, well, he'll throw it out, because like Jerry said, we have no ordinance on it. I mean, he's the attorney, I'm not gonna go, if that's what he said.
Okay, so, for instance, someone gets a handicap sign, are there ordinances for handicap signs? I mean, I'm not sure, we can't write an ordinance just for Patsy's place. I'm not sure what kind of ordinance it would be.
What if we would make it a permanent sign? Like business hours?
Yeah.
Like during business hours, 20-minute parking.
We would still need an ordinance, though, on that.
I think any sign, any street sign, whether it's a stop sign, a parking sign, I think even a handicap sign.
Yeah, most definitely.
Has to have an ordinance attached to it in order for the magistrate to be able to enforce it.
Enforce it,
All
right.
right, I'll ask him again.
A lot of boroughs don't, but they take the chance that somebody's not gonna fight it. Like Oakmont put up 4 stop signs this year and didn't pass a single ordinance. So technically, you run that stop sign and get pulled over, you take it to the magistrate and they throw it out.
But the average person ain't gonna lose, I'll just throw a number out, $100 for that day to go to the magistrate for a $50 fine. You know what I mean? Plus you gotta pay court costs and...
Well,
Okay.
I'll ask him again.
All right, Dominic's not here. 3rd Street, Jerry, if you could tell the street department to go up to 3rd Street, the dead end by St. Joe's, left on, off of Center Avenue at the end. There's an alley there, and right there at that area, you can't miss it. The street is all broken up. I was down there the other day, it's, pretty bad.
Okay.
And emergency management, I'm going to, I have talked to the board before, I had, going to resign my position as coordinator because there's just too much paperwork and schooling and everything, and I can't do it during the day, let alone evening, because they have their meetings on council meeting nights. And I had discussed, Mark was willing to take it over. The board needs to appoint him as emergency management coordinator.
Can I have a motion to appoint Mark Stanton as the emergency management coordinator for the Borough of Verona?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. McCarthy. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you. That's all I have, other than a real quick on the exec session on some properties and dog catcher.
Okey-doke. I attended the chamber meeting this month, and two things had come up. First of all, their Kennywood ticket sales was significantly down by approximately $1,600. In the past, their key fundraising event is the Kennywood tickets, and they usually make about $1,800, and this summer, they made a whopping $200. Kevin asked for ideas and asked me if I would bring it to council for possible ideas on how they could increase their ticket sales and what could possibly be done to raise that fundraiser back up, because then that interferes with the scholarships and such that they give at the end of the year to the high school students.
Do they think that it was because they couldn't do it at Giant Eagle?
Well, that was pretty much the
hurt them, yeah.
significant problem.
It's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And I talked with Kevin about this. My suggestion is that they would have to get an early start on it and get the PTO involved at the elementary school up here at Verona Elementary. They have monthly meetings themselves, and they could maybe, put a flyer out to the students. Parents are there on a daily basis picking up the kiddos. So,
Or sent home with the kids.
something might be able to be done through the school system.
Are they
But
just not, I'm sorry.
he asked for us to consider ideas. So if anybody has anything else, either get it to me or talk with Kevin about it.
Are they just not allowed to sell in front of Giant Eagle or on any of the property down there?
I think it was Echo, it
Yeah,
wasn't Giant Eagle.
Yeah.
It was the plaza.
Because I know we
What was
went
the
down
issue?
to them for our boot
They just
drive.
don't
We
want
usually
it.
stand in
Just
front.
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts
And
were allowed.
they says no more because people going into Giant Eagle, they had too many complaints that every time they go into Giant Eagle, there was somebody there. They said Giant Eagle, they didn't say the whole complex,
Yeah, they
I
said
believe it was the property.
the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts are the only two that they're
And we
allowed.
called them on it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was the whole property, the whole strip mall.
I
or
think
the-
it is the whole property, but Kevin would be better able to answer that. They are also missing tables and chairs. Their tables and chairs are all marked with uppercase VCC on the bottom, so if you happen to see any tables and chairs that are marked with VCC, they should belong to the Verona Chamber of Commerce and not anybody else, and,
Have we checked the garage?
I
That's where we
think
put it.
Kevin talked with AJ about it.
Okay.
You still got them ones from the firewall down there, right? Them
Yeah, I
chairs.
have. Yeah.
And we, as a chamber board member, we loan them out to anybody that asked for them, as long as they brought them back.
So somebody didn't bring it back.
We used to have a bunch of chairs. We had almost 50 chairs. There's probably maybe half of that there now, if that. And we had probably a dozen tables.
Were there any sign-outs, like the library doesn't lend books without a
We
sign-out?
used to have a sign up, but, did you sign
That's
up?
why we stopped lending them out at the firewall, because we just kept losing and losing and losing.
Well, if we're at any functions and you look at the tables, look underneath and
Look
see
under
if you
the
see
tables.
VCC.
Anytime you're in.
Claim that table.
Now, see, the VCC could go three ways. Verona Chamber of Commerce, Verona Country Club, or Verona Car Cruise. So we covered all the areas.
That was good.
Country Club.
Verona-
So those were the two requests from Chamber. Committee handbook, at the beginning of the year, I had asked everybody to write a description of their committee, if you all remember the philosophy and stuff, and I still have those. I want to start meeting with each committee and elaborate more on the responsibilities of the committees, because it was pretty much just a photocopy of things that I had put together in the past. So, Ray, you're the lucky one. We're going to start with you. Your committee on finance and budget, because Jerry and I had attended that. So I want to share this with you and it's everything that we went over, the whole video conference, which was like from 9 to 3:30 that day. There's also several pages of grants there. I think 13 pages of possible grants. A lot of them are coming up in January. You know, they open in January. Some of them are already closed, but maybe we can get together and apply for those grants.
Sandy, if I may, on those grants, a lot of those grants, and a lot of people don't understand how to do grants. And somebody had said, there's actually people that can write grants, and let's say if you're writing a $500,000 grant, and that person will write it for you and push for it, and if they get it, then they get like 5%. That would be their pay of whatever grant money that they would get. I think it's something that the borough should look into.
Right.
A professional grant writer that, I mean, because I'm sure nobody here has time to sit down and do a grant the way they're supposed to be.
Right.
So there's actually also, there's classes, there's whole, like seminars like we took.
Right.
That are grant writing seminars, and they're much longer than what we did. They're days long.
But the local government academy will also assist you with the writing of the grants. So, I mean,
Use them then.
those are all possibilities that we could go through. The Pennsylvania Boroughs Association, and we pay into those anyhow. They'll help. But anyhow, Ray, when's a good time to meet? Like, is it evening best because of your work schedule?
Yeah, work daylight, yeah.
Could say, is there any evening better?
Mondays are generally out because of fire hall.
Okay, so if we all look at our calendars and see when we can hook up and get together on that.
Tuesdays are okay if you want, you know.
Okay.
Me, whatever, Tuesdays, whatever.
The Planning Commission, we talked about this. There's a lot of questions about the comprehensive plan and such, and it is the responsibility of the Planning Commission. They are having a hearing next Thursday, well, not next Thursday, October the 11th, so I guess in 2 weeks, at 7 o'clock, but they have regularly scheduled meetings, and Mr. Steinhaus had organized this the second Thursday of the month for the Planning Commission. So it's my intent to meet with them that night and talk with them about the comprehensive plan and how can we get this moving. I'd like to talk about some correspondence here. Patty Friday, who is a representative on council in Verona. Oakmont, thank you. I received this very nice thank you card. What a great article about Verona in the Post-Gazette. Congratulations to you and the other citizens. Your good work is paying off and Verona benefits. And I just thought that that was very decent of a council person in another town to recognize what's happening here in Verona. I wanted to thank Dom Conti because there was a concerned citizen down at the Moore Tower. I suppose there was a catch basin, a sewer line with grass growing over it, down on that road going to Rob Roy's, I think. That's where it was. And she originally had seen me at Giant Eagle. That's when the conversation started. We had several phone calls. The street department went down and took care of it. Not the way it needed to be done because it was a private line. And so Dom got involved with it, and the lady did call me the day after our last meeting, which would have been the 12th of September, and, you know, commended Dom Conti and his professionalism in getting that taken care of. So he was instrumental in that. I did put an email out to everybody on Sunday. I can't make the COG meeting tomorrow night, and I asked somebody to stand in for me, which anybody, I can appoint anybody to go to these, but I just needed to put it out there because I didn't want to make anybody responsible for going to a meeting not knowing what your own schedules were. And Janet was the one person on council that that is going to attend the COG meeting tomorrow night, and I thank you for that, because it is beneficial and it's important for us all to know what's going on over there. So, that's it right now. Oh, did I put that in there?
I did.
Oh.
Dory.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that, yes, the exec session. So, and we
Pending
don't...
litigation.
For pending litigation, and we do not need to return.
Correct.
Okay? Okay, Mr. Conti's not here. Dr. Carpenter?
Okay, there's not a whole lot to report in terms of ordinances, except that we had our meeting yesterday. The brew pub ordinance is still very much under construction. There's some issues that need to be finished up for the stormwater ordinance. And we got a copy of the state law regarding fireworks that we're going to work from to come up with a fireworks ordinance. There are a couple of other ordinances that are sort of in the waiting period. Drone and something else. It's not coming to me at the moment. That we already approved to be the drone ordinance and the, well, stormwater, I guess, is ready to go, except for this one thing. The vacant property ordinance is also still being worked on. So they're all in process, so we'll be working on those, and there'll be more of a definitive report at the next meeting. I had a couple of other questions. I too have an issue for the exec session, which doesn't require any coming back. And I was kind of thinking that maybe Matt was going to be here tonight.
Matt doesn't typically come for workshops unless we
Right, but you had
specifically need
mentioned that
him.
he might come for some reason for
Yeah,
tonight.
and he didn't, he's not coming.
That's fine. So, some residents just asked me about 2nd Street that was brought up by Mr. Brady a while back, having to do with redoing that road because of how, I guess it's getting worse and worse, 2nd Street. Do you know anything about that?
I personally do not know where we stand with that. I'd have to check with Matt and see.
It's a brick road.
Yeah, I'll check with Matt and make sure he has it on his report for the next meeting.
Okay. Wanted to just let the public know that there's going to be a zoning hearing tomorrow night at 7 p.m., correct?
Correct, and go ahead.
Two of the things are regarding the Midway, the closed Midway beverage place, having to do with a lighted billboard of some sort, and also Mechanic Coffee going in there to brew some coffee, or roast coffee, I guess.
Roast coffee and store.
Right.
And then the third thing is Roth Automotive, Oakmont Automotive is purchasing Roth Automotive. And he would like to put an addition on the building and some other zoning variances.
Okay, so that's what's going to be tomorrow night here at 7 p.m. And then in your update, I don't know if it's possible, Jerry, to add this, the progress, the Arley grant, the light, what's happening with the light. I know they have to do a long study,
Yeah,
and I don't know that you know anything about it. It's probably something that Matt would know
Yeah.
more about. But I've had people ask me about when's the light gonna go in, and my understanding is
think
that
it's-
it's a long process,
from what I understand, the timeline is like next spring is when the
that
light
the actual
actually-
light would go in.
Correct.
In the meantime, they're doing like traffic flow studies or something like that. Okay. And then, just wondering, there's this question several months ago about a couple of planters that were hit by a car, then something about Kaminsky's, and if it was their planters, are we gonna get 2 more planters? And I believe the last time I heard was that they were gonna be ordered.
Yeah, I'll check on the status of that too.
All right. Okay, that's all I have except for the exec. Thanks.
You sure you don't want to take care of all the other committees here? Mr. McCarthy?
Still working on the police contract. We have a scheduled meeting next week, so hopefully we'll have everything together to get to council for the regular council session.
Thank you.
A question on, since you brought that up, what about the street department? They working on that also?
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna get the police contract done.
That's right, you're on that too, huh?
Yeah, so as soon as the police contract's done, the streets crew is gonna be much simpler. It's pretty much already done. We're just gonna finish up the police one first, and then we'll finish up the streets one.
Is that it, Mr. McCarthy?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Suchovich?
Well, we've been talking about the budget, and now we got the grants to look into, and just working with Jerry, trying to get everything squared away for the fall, for the votes on the budgets.
Thank you. Mrs. LaLalba?
I was not able to get together with Tom Land from Oakmont Rec Board about that DNCR grant for Parks Director. I hope to get in touch with him soon, and, maybe the next meeting we can go further. I'm not sure, just to see where Oakmont really stands and how we really feel too. I don't know what council feels about maybe somebody organizing all our activities that go on between, our parks here and with Oakmont, but, once I talk with Tom, get more of an idea, I'll bring it back.
Is the school district definitely out of
As
that?
far as I know, he might be leaving it out, but
Okay.
I haven't heard anything further.
Okay,
And.
because they don't talk about it at all at the board meetings.
No. So I don't know if that's a definite out, or, with everything that has been going on with their budgets,
Okay,
that was even considered. Hopefully that their solicitor, had shed some light into that. So I'm not sure what Tom knows
okay.
from the school district. But it would be nice, but he was trying to, his suggestion was to leave them out for now. So maybe it was like a hint that they don't want to be involved with it.
Okay.
I don't know.
So that would put a bigger burden of responsibility on the two communities.
Unless, right now, the way it looks like the salary is not going to be as high as it once thought to be. Once it was going to be between 50 and 60, now it's suggested it would be 40,000, a year, or maybe even instead of a full-time position, maybe even just going like a part-time seasonal type thing.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
see what the needs are and go from there. And we'll work on the budget next rec board meeting, so I'll put that and get it to Jerry and Ray. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, thank you. I also attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting. That was on September 18th. Yesterday, we had our ordinance meeting here. I was there, and today we had a communication meeting. Mr. Genna and President Sandy Drabicki Bell. Both were very productive meetings yesterday and today. And the communication meeting was dealing with website, which, Jerry, you may want to expound a little on that. And also, tomorrow, I will be attending the zoning hearing board meeting, and the newsletter is in print. So we should have it hopefully very first week in October.
As far as the website goes,
Thank you.
The company that we contracted with completely started over, redid the whole thing. I think it looks really good.
Very nice.
We went through it, every page of it, the three of us, plus the two people from the company, and gave suggestions about changes that we thought they should make, design changes, content changes, as well as some additional function that we wanted to be able to implement. The timeline for it is we have a couple things we need to get to them for content, some photos, and we need to get headshots from all of council members. So dress nice for the next meeting. And we're gonna get some pictures to them, and then we'll have it live probably prior to the workshop, but they will be at the next workshop to give everybody a demo and walk through the website for the public.
When you say live, you mean it's going to go,
It'll be online for everybody to have
you
access
do
to.
know that Comcast, because we were discussing this last night about being on television, and both Plum and, because Penn Hills is going to, they're going to start doing theirs, and both Plum and Monroeville says that they don't pay nothing for Comcast to put it on. They bring all the equipment.
So you were talking about two different things. You're talking about streaming
Oh, okay,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
talking about the website going live for everybody to
Okay.
access. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I know Craig had mentioned that Monroeville has like their own channel.
Yeah,
I didn't know that it was
29
free.
and 30.
Might be something to consider. We could always just do Facebook Live. Make everybody tune into Facebook to watch it. It's free.
Yeah.
But that's all I have for the website. We should have a tour of the website at the next workshop meeting.
And I just wanted to commend the two young people who are doing this. They did say that they're very Christian-oriented and that the churches in the community, if they don't have something going, that they would be more than willing to start something with them because at no charge to the churches, so that service schedules, mass schedules, et cetera, could be posted. So I thought that was very decent of them.
If we want to change something on there or add something, do you do that, Jerry, or do we have to contact them?
So most of it I can do.
Okay,
If it's more in-depth, we would have them do it. They were very apologetic at the time that this happened. They had a personnel issue and somebody left the company and like that, and assured me that if we did need them in the future, that they would be there and we wouldn't have any issues anymore. I believe it based on the way the last couple weeks have gone. They've been
good.
very much on top of things. But no, I will have control over changing anything minor, any text, any photos, any updates like that. But if it's like a major change, then we would need them.
So, they're making it so that you can put things like the meeting agenda,
Yeah.
meeting minutes,
Yeah, that'll all be on there.
announcements of any kind on there for people to take a look
The
at.
state of the borough,
Yeah, we discussed that this morning.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
that'll all be on it.
The articles when they come out.
We're gonna put the newsletter on there.
Great.
Yep.
Is there a monthly maintenance fee with them? No.
No.
So
If anything that we would have them do, we would pay them
per,
per update if we needed them. But all this kind of stuff I would do and there's no additional fee.
so what will be the final cost of this website?
From what I understand, and we haven't, our contract is $3,000. So I'm not exceeding that.
And so
and
we'll
that-
wait till it actually comes live and
Yeah, we're not
all the
gonna-
bugs are worked out before you pay the other $1,500.
Before we pay the other $1,500. And we have another $1,000 in the budget for any other odds and end things like photography work or, copy or anything like that we would possibly need. But I added that into the budget as a cushion in case other things came up. But the contract that we have with Upcode is for $3,000.
Cool, all right, thank you.
Okay. Reports from special committees? Anything from TCC or COG we'll find out at the public meeting? And ALM? There was on the Allegheny League of Municipalities website, the banner community is getting started. So there are 5 criteria here: a commitment to sustainable practices, professional development, intergovernmental cooperation, sound fiscal management, proactive communications to engage community stakeholders. This year, they provided 10 scholarships to, and they were randomly drawn to this year's conference that we went to in April. Baldwin Borough got it, Cranberry Township, Millvale Borough, Monroeville, Ohio Township, Portview, Swissvale, South Fayette, Wilkins, and Westview. The deadline for 2018 calendar year is January 31st, 2019. So I am going to get started working on this. Sylvia, I'd like your help on it. When I started this several years ago, I know the packet that I sent in was probably 3 inches thick. And I think what has been done is there have been updates sent electronically. And I think we need to look at this and resubmit with everything more current information. There's also here about the sustainable, and I know Janet had started on that. So, we'll get together and work on this as well.
The forms would be right on the computer. We could just print them off.
Well, they sent me
To
this
apply.
here, so they sent that to me, so,
Okay, because I think last time I took the forms right off the computer,
right.
filled it out.
But, it tells you how you can improve your application, and I'm hoping that, by improving it, maybe Verona can get a scholarship here too, to go.
Do you have a copy of that for me also?
I don't. Council will now hear comments from the public on public-related items. Okay, can I have okay.
Don Wharf, 636 3rd Avenue. Jerry, when you're all satisfied with the website is at where you want it to be, check it out and let me know so that we can, if you want, still port over the
I would like to do
.com
that.
or,
I'd like to use both .com and .org and redirect one to the other, so that for search engine purposes. But I don't want to do that until we have a good website.
let me know, okay?
Yeah, I'll let you know. Thank you, Don.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn to exec session, and we will not return?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mrs. Provenza, second by Mr. Suchovich. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.